So we offer a couple of different types of hose connectors. The first one we're going to look at is probably the most commonly used one, which is a hose lock connector or quick connector, depending on how you refer to it. This is a lock-in system where you push two connectors together and they'll click into place, and they're easily detached by pulling back a collar and pulling the two apart. So with the quick connectors, you'll usually find that one of the connectors will be a male, whereas another will be a female. The usual setup for this would be the male, which you'll have screwed to your garden tap, and then the female, which is attached to the hose. Simply pull back the collar and then push the two together, and you'll hear a clicking to say it's locked into place, and now our connection is made. So to join your quick connector to the hose pipe, first off you'll want to unscrew the back locking nut here. Remove that and slide it first onto the hose pipe, and then you'll see there's a connector here with these teeth-like joins. Just want to push the hose pipe in as far as it will go, and then move the locking nut into position and screw it down tight. That will compress those teeth that we saw and grip onto the hose pipe nice and tight. Make sure you do this nice, hand tight as far as you can go, and that will give you your firm connection on the hose pipe. In some cases, you may be using 3/4 inch hose rather than the standard 1/2 inch. If that's the case, you will need to get the correct fittings. There's sometimes some confusion around this. When buying 3/4 inch hose fittings, the quick connect portion of the fitting, the part that connects onto the tap, that size never changes. So you'll be able to use your standard connector on the tap with either a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 inch quick connect. However, the back section of the fitting where the hose pipe connects is enlarged on a 3/4 inch to accommodate the larger hose. So this one that I'm holding in my hand here is for a 1/2 inch hose, but I've got an example one here where it's for the 3/4 inch, and it's just enlarged. It's used exactly the same way. When browsing our range on the website, you may see some fittings are marked with an Auto-Stop or an Aqua-Stop label. These fittings are usually used on the end of the hose pipe that you'll be using, where you'll be fitting things like spray guns, connecting to sprinklers, or maybe lances. The Auto-Stop feature means that when an item is disconnected from this fitting, a little plunger inside, in the case of this one, or sometimes externally, in the case of this fitting here, will close up, blocking water from coming out of the fitting. This is great if you want to change from, say, a spray gun to a lance without having to go back to your tap to turn it off before doing so. You'll also find in our range that we may have plastic connectors like this one and metal connectors. Although the concept is exactly the same and they're actually interchangeable, you tend to find that gardening professionals will go for a metal connector. Performance-wise, they're usually the same, but they're a bit more hard wearing. So if you feel like it's going to be in an environment where it might be physically abused a little bit, I would go with the metal fittings over the plastic. However, if it's just a standard garden situation, the plastic fittings are so good that I can't recommend them enough. And you get the added benefit of the plastic fitting being a lot lighter than the metal fitting. So if you want your setup to be as lightweight as possible, go with the plastic over the metal. In addition to the quick connectors you can find on our site, we also offer a range of Geka fittings. These are very different from the quick connect. They use their own system, and this uses a claw and locking mechanism, which means when we join these, it's a simple push and twist connection. That makes it very basic, very secure, and means that these are great for high pressure situations. So our Gekas come in a number of different styles. You'll find ones like this one here, which are threaded on the back end. This is what you would put on your tap in replacement of the male quick connector we've already looked at. So usually you'd screw this onto your tap, and that would then be waiting for the connection of the hose pipe. On the hose pipe side of things, we have these standard hose tails, which you'd simply push the hose pipe on and then secure with a Jubilee clip. But some Gekas also come with the teeth mechanism that we've seen on previous fittings. So once you've connected your hose pipe on and you've screwed your connector onto the tap, like I mentioned earlier, it's just a case of pushing the two together to engage the seals and then twist to lock into place. Once they're locked into place, there's no way for them to pop off until you push them back together and twist to loosen them off. Because of the relatively simple design of these and the fact that they come in metal, these are great for gardening professionals. Now, of course, if you've got hose carts and trolleys, they'll usually come with the quick connect system, but in some cases you may be able to unscrew that and screw on a Geka fitting instead. If you do that, then you'll have to fully convert over to the Geka system, unless it comes to things like spray guns and lances. In some cases, they can't convert over to Geka, so you may need a combination of Geka fittings where you can use them, and then quick connects where you need to use those. And that's completely fine to do, is have a mixture. So when it comes to hose pipe fittings, common question we get asked is, can I mix a combination of plastic and metal fittings? And do I have to buy the same brand throughout? Short answer for both of those is no. Usually when it comes to the quick connect system, they're generally interchangeable, although I like to recommend you get the same brands where possible, just to make 100% certain that you're not going to have any problems. But as they use the same universal system, strictly speaking, you should be able to interchange them. Of course, when it comes to Geka, there's only one style of these, so there would be no mixing and matching. You're locked into the one system and the one brand. You can find our full range of hosepipe fittings on Easy Garden Irrigation. And if you have any questions that we haven't covered in this video, you can email in to our staff and we're happy to respond as quickly as possible for you.